What's good, y'all, and welcome to another video. This one is about the sawtooth sharpshooter, my guy Harpun over here. And you might be wondering, Harpun? I mean, we pulled him a couple times, everybody pulled him, and you always sold him or let him dust in your inventory. Why now? Why him? How did we get here? And one of those reasons would be me pulling him twice, pretty much close together, and then being like, if I already have him twice, what does his A1 even do? And this is what got it all started. This very simple A1 that says when shielded, the hero ignores 30% of the enemy's defense, which is always a good thing. Really, for most heroes, let's say for example like Volrons or even I think Falchias, there's a lot of heroes in the game that have defense ignores or Kigiris. And defense ignores are always a very vital part of a kit and allow a hero to start doing ridiculous numbers in most of the scenarios, because if the defense is ignored or partly ignored, it always obviously increases your damage and also allows you to, for example, build more crit damage rather than attack, because there's not as much defense to overcome.
Our research begins.
Next up, you would get 5% crit rate. Then if an enemy is killed with arrow bombardment, which is the ultimate, he gains 80 rage. Not that relevant. The A4 also at 40 attack speed, not that great. And then here, a crit hit grants a shield that can absorb damage equal to 25% max HP. So my guy permanently shields himself. Obviously with 100% crit rate, every single attack is going to shield him. So yeah, that's the basics. Now a bit of information about his kit. What does his ultimate do? He just shoots 3 powerful ability or 3 powerful shots that deal 150% damage each, so 450 total. Noticeable is the fact that it's only 240 rage, so dirt cheap. And also it doesn't count as a basic attack. It does not count as a basic attack. So it's something special, which means Infernal Roar down the drain, at least when it comes to himself. Otherwise you have the basic attack, which is interesting because it deals 110% damage, and also it deals 35% extra, it deals 20% extra damage to targets below 35% HP. So something that doesn't really have a bunch of relevance for, let's say, Guild Boss 1. It would have to be tested if the HP bar of Guild Boss 2 counts as being below 35% HP. And then you have Sense of Blood. When he kills someone with his ultimate, he increases his attack speed by 150. Now we already looked at the ultimate. There's just one thing that at least just already from a general standpoint holds him back, and that's the fact that he is a marksman. Yes, he is a marksman, so he has the 3-tile range, but he is not a piercer marksman. If he had a Piercer dual faction, you could for example run him with a Piercer Lord, and he would, let's say, have Gear A3 relevance. With the way it's looking currently, I tried him out in Gear A3, it doesn't really work because he doesn't have the range, and it just takes forever for the enemies to come close, and when they do come close, he just can't kill them fast enough. So a big issue is obviously his faction, though now we need to figure something else out, and that is his damage output at least somewhat manageable? And for that we have a pretty fun team assembled right here with Elder. So simply speaking, Elder has a talent: when shielded, units deal 30% extra damage based on the shield. He can also give himself shield. He can also give himself more shield during ultimate, and if he uses his ultimate, he gives his talent, so this when shielded deals extra damage, to his faction allies, who obviously also include our boy right here, right? Our boy Harpun. Then to kinda allow us to really generate these shields, we have Rock. Rock normally obviously scales off of HP, but he has this beautiful talent right here where he grants a 15% of max HP to ever cast an ultimate within the tile, so he grants a extra shield to these units. And obviously he gets 100% extra increase when it works on himself, so we are actually going to try and provide that shield to our Northener units to give them stronger shields, to make them deal more damage. That's what Rock is here for. Let's not actually give him this artifact. Let's quickly just swap it over, same thing, to another Rentier. Then we have Faltia. Faltia again, skill wise, when the hero is in Demon Slaying stance she does more damage, and when the hero is shielded she does an extra 20% damage. Combined with Lucian Flame, her lesser known exclusive artifact, which gives her 30% crit damage, so you can focus more on building attack or attack speed rather than the need for crit damage. Also, it extends the duration of the Demon Slaying stance, so her most powerful state is just longer. As well as soon as you trigger her ultimate, she automatically enters into the Demon Slaying stance, which also allows her to deal the 260% extra true damage during Shadow Slash, so it brings her kit together really well. Otherwise, also here, whenever she enters Demon Slaying stance, she gets another 10% rage. That Demon Slaying stance is also then 12 seconds. There's a couple awakenings that are quite nice, like for example, this gains a shield 1, which would guarantee her having a shield every time she enters Demon Slaying stance. Or this one where she reduces attack interval in Demon Slaying stance, but we're keeping it A0 for this one. And then the one I'm most hopeful for, the one who's already proven his worth over and over again, would have to be Glacius. With his basic attack that inflicts a slow, as well as having a chance to freeze. Importantly, he deals 20% more damage to targets inflicted with slow, and also 20% more damage to targets inflicted with freeze. Now, the problem with threes would obviously have to be that you can't apply it to bosses, but that is where the Heart of Ice comes in. So, number 1, he's unable to be frozen. Number 2, he deals 80% extra damage to targets inflicted with freeze, combined with the talent that's already at 100%. And this is the important part here. If the target is immune to freeze, triggered by the talent, the hero inflicts Eye of Winter. Eye of Winter pretty much simulates them being frozen. So he applies Eye of Winter to whoever and then says, you're frozen even though you aren't, so here, take the extra damage. Frozen Shield, every 26 seconds he gains an extra shield, which already plays into like the Elder synergy. Every time damage is taken, it reduces the cooldown, and here, whenever his ultimate is triggered, this effect triggers immediately, and it increases the shield strength obtained to 60%, so he gains a shield equal to 60% of his own max HP every time he ults. During ult, he also increases his basic attack range, and his basic attack does 3 strikes. This is also important. It turns basic attack into it, so Infernal Roar is still the best set, or at least tied with Sorbonne Arcana as usual. Deal 110% damage each, and for every 1% max HP of shield strength owned, he increases his damage by up to 100% at a 100% HP shield. So he has a 60% right here, a 75% through Rogue, some extra shield damage through Elder's talent, and this is the plan to really keep it all together. And then otherwise we have your normal Laurel swap in with Dolores and Hollow, as well as Volker for inspiration and reduction of Hollow, and then a Mary in a morale set to place down when we basically have the time to place her down, and she'll also obviously produce the same vulnerabilities, as well as potentially inflicting freeze, which increases the damage of Glacius even further. So this is our Northener NM4. Haven't tried the team before. Gear wise, let's quickly go through it just so we all have an idea. It's pretty much similar sets on everybody, with a 2 times crit damage, 1 times attack focus, where we made a slight exception. It's basically equal to Soulbound Arcana from my testing with him now, but we are using him in this set because there's not really a lot of characters that run Hell's Lament anyway, and Hell's Lament here on him actually triggers often enough where it's really worth it as a set to run, because you can continuously count on this being active. So yeah, that's his set. For Faixia, what we actually did is run crit damage, attack speed, attack percent, because we're getting some extra crit damage from the artifact, and the attack speed really is quite needed for her. And he is pretty standard, same as Elder, just in a Infernal Roar. Alright, enough talking, let's have a look and see how they all perform together. So kinda see this as a Northener guild boss slash Harpun showcase. Let's see what we can make happen here by obviously providing the right buff. So that's the Invigoration down right here. Then this should be Wings of Grace. Here we'll probably put Rock down here, provide another Invigoration, put Faisha in, provide her with the Inspiration, and then put Eldor in. Now we just kinda fast forward. Obviously we can use Faisha early because she's getting her ultimate really fast. Here we can already speed this process up, trigger these two ultimates almost prior to Dolores. Did that count? I hope so, because it would be quite unfortunate if it didn't. So then we obviously just bring in Mary, we get the slow, we get the vulnerabilities, and we can use our ultimate. So let's see on what ult percentage Glacier starts out. 27. Alright, then let's quickly restart this one and do it once again properly. So we give Invigoration set right here, Wings of Grace set right here. Elder should get an Invigoration like that. Faisha, oh, that's Volker. Come on, we can do this, I believe in us. Alright, so Invigoration, Wings of Grace, hopefully. Yes, nice. Then normal Invigoration once again. And Faisha, another Invigoration, Volker out, Rock in, and continue. Okay, so Faisha ultimate, early, Elder, wait it out a bit here. Actually we can go with both, like this, get it out, get the rage in, and then place in Mary. Alright, so far so good. Faisha ultimate as soon as ready. Nobody we really need to pay attention to too closely. Here we can just activate them all at the same time. We'll keep Mary in shortly until Laura is almost ready, and then seamlessly swap over to Volker. So just like this, so that whenever Volker's ultimate turns ready, we have some more vulnerabilities, while then Mary gets ready. Though this time we'll actually wait until we'll leave her in until we can place down Laurel. Not that it's necessary to leave her in, but just some slight damage, it's nothing crazy. Activate, we can actually probably go something like this, activate here, take out. Bit unlucky on the ult percentages there, though still within fine margins, I would say. And yeah, let's see. Come on, another ultimate. We do not ult with Mary because we want to keep that vulnerability rather than not have the vulnerability during the freezes. Alright, getting closer to again a swap like this one, where we just wait for all our important ultimates to be ready already, like here, and then take out and put in Volker again. Okay, 24,000, obviously nothing too crazy. I would say that like the big damage is probably gonna come from Faisha and Glacius, and those two have really powerful awakenings. I think Glacius's A1 massively increases his single target damage. His A3 massively increases his single target potential. So when you're looking at someone that gets way more effective with ultimates, it obviously has to be Glacius with awakenings. Though I'm still very interested in kind of seeing what this weird shield focused, shield based damage comp can actually bring to the table. Though it doesn't quite look like we're going to be hitting 50k, which obviously is a disappointment in general, considering the amount of sets, amount of synergy, and everything else in between. I would probably say Rock is by far the weakest here, and the shield generation. The shield generation really is an issue because you don't have someone you can just put in that either continues to deal worthy damage or has a reliable way to provide shields. That's kind of what this whole synergy they're going here for is missing. Same with Volker. You're kind of missing someone you can put into a single target focused team that then also provides shields. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, we have a pretty clear picture right here with Glacius and Fleischer doing the most, Elder doing, I don't know, Elder things I guess, Harpun being severely disappointing for the amount of investment and particulars, at least slight promise his kit has, and then we have Rock and Mary. Now let's get back to the Harpun at hand and figure out exactly what it is that causes him to perform so badly. And I guess the reason would be pretty simple. It's already a bit obvious from the kit, but you kinda want to hope for something more. So this is his only real damage increase during ultimate, or basically this is his only damage increase through awakenings. This is unimportant, you can fix that with gear. This never triggers in a single target scenario, and you don't really want to use him in a multi-target scenario because he does single target, and otherwise he also doesn't get the range increase that piercers do. This attack speed one is more hurtful than helpful because you're getting the good attack speed from the gear already, and then for example going from plus 240 to plus 280 attack speed is barely noticeable. And then the A5 right here, yes, it gets the kit good together, but it just gives him a shield. It doesn't provide anything else. So at least the A1 and A5 together were for that 30% defense ignore, but that's about it what he gets from awakenings. And now the real problem would be his abilities. Number one, he only does 110% per basic attack. Triggering this HP below thing is rarely situational. This whole passive, his complete passive, is fully based on him killing someone through his ultimate, which is really situational, because number one, this ultimate is auto, and number two, it's only single target, so even in a normal scenario, maybe a Silas does the kill, and then he wouldn't even trigger this sense of blood. And then the ultimate itself. The ultimate is severely disappointing, doing only 450% damage against a single target. And what really holds him back is the fact that he doesn't have a talent, that he's not a piercer, that he doesn't have any further ways of boosting his damage in his kit. And that is also the reason why nobody ever heard about him, and no video like this one has been made in the past, because as you can see, it is kinda pointless to put your hopes in Harpun. So this has been it, and we see each other in the next one. Peace!